This episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. You know that one friend who always finds the best travel deals, picks the right cards, and somehow ends up in first class for the price of coach? How do they do that? Well, Smart Travel is like that friend, but in podcast form. They cover all things travel finance, like which travel cards earn their keep and which are just heavy, shiny metal, and planning group trips that won't ruin your budget or your friendships. So travel smarter and spend less. That's the key with help from NerdWallet. Follow Smart Travel wherever you get your podcasts. Armchair-Explorer is a part of the Voyescape podcast network. Check out all of their shows from around the world at voyescape.com. Hey guys, welcome to Armchair Explorer. My name's Aaron Miller. I am a travel writer and your host. And today we've got another episode in honor of Native American Heritage Month. And it's a good one. Our Aussie friend, he's done a lot of presenting for us in the past, Brian Thacker, is headed to the Black Hills of South Dakota for one of the biggest powwows in the United States. And it is an incredible recording. I got to shout out Jason Patton, who did the field recording there. You'll know Jason from our Pathways episodes if you've checked those out. He did an amazing job too. Some absolutely beautiful singing and drumming and just wonderful storytelling too. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. This is called Powwow Spirit in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for all year long.
We call it a powwow spirit, and it comes into the arena. Nobody knows when, you can't see it, you can't smell it, but it's there, you can feel it. And for a moment, there's no worries, there's no pain. People in the crowd that are having a difficult time or grieving or lonely, and that spirit comes in, that's the healing spirit, that's the healing energy. And when you're able to experience it, it just makes you want to come back next year or go to another event and try to search for it.
Roaming herds of buffalo, the Wild West, mountains, monuments, dinosaurs and pioneers. Welcome to South Dakota, the land of infinite variety. I'm Brian Thacker, I'm a travel writer, and this is episode 11, The Powwow Spirit.
Mikonis na nehon, mikonis na shave. Na chusta sutta namun hayan na hetta. What I said was, my name is Little Head, Ruben Little Head. I come from the Northern Cheyenne, the people of the Morning Star.
I want to say welcome to each and every one of you to the Black Hills Powwow for Santana Young Man Afraid.
Ruben has been an MC at the Black Hills Powwow for 17 years. Before there were organised powwows, Native American communities held ceremonial gatherings for centuries. When the US government seized swaths of land from the peoples in the northern and southern plains, it brought about a forced migration which resulted in intertribal exchange and solidarity among Plains Indians. It also fostered peace and friendship between the tribes and led the way to a tradition of tribes meeting to dance and sing. This became the modern powwow, where everyone is welcome. And we've been invited to experience it for ourselves. Less than 5,000 people attended Ruben's first Black Hills Powwow. Now over 25,000 come, making it the biggest in America.
It's a place where some of the best singing groups come to compete. So they're singing their hardest, their loudest, their best songs, they're all in rhythm. It just creates that energy. It's really like poetry when you look upon it and you're part of it.
The fact that this powwow takes place here in the Black Hills is very significant.
This place, called the Black Hills, the Hesapa, it's a very spiritual place for a lot of natives. Like for me and some of the Lakota people, we have sacred sites around here, and one of our sacred mountains, Bear Butte, right down the road here. We have stories, creation stories, and we have stories of our prophet, sweet medicine. So it's kind of like a homecoming.
Ruben's whole family comes too, but they don't just tag along.
My oldest is 27. He's my fancy dancer. And Junior, he's 24. Making me think of my ages here, wow. And he's my traditional dancer. And they both won this powwow,
Oh, wow.
2 or 3 times in the years past. Then my daughter, I got one daughter, and she's 13 now, so she's in teens, and she's up and coming, and she takes a lot of pride in her dancing. And then my baby boy, he's my youngest, he's my traditional dancer too, like his brother, he's 11. And so watching them dance, as a proud father, I share with them and encourage them through their culture, because they represent the Cheyenne on my side and the Navajo on their mom. They take a lot of pride in their language and the storytelling and what they're wearing, where it comes from. So that way they have an understanding and they kind of appreciate it more. Their outfits, their feathers, their moccasins, everything that they wear has a meaning behind it.
We're chatting with Ruben just outside the stadium during one of his breaks, but he needed to get back to his MC duties, which sounds like an absolute marathon.
Last night we went till like 1:30, 1:40 in the morning. Tonight we'll probably go till 2 in the morning. The only thing, kind of sad thing, is I think they closed Denny's early now,
We follow Ruben out to watch the grand entrance, where over 1,000 dancers are about to make their way onto the stadium floor. The grandstands are full of fans and colourful blankets staking out seats. And like any sporting event, people are eating hot dogs and walking tacos. The cultural significance is obvious, but this isn't a solemn event. People whoop and cheer for their friends and favourite dancers. It's a celebration.
Welcome to all of you that have traveled here to the Black Hills from all directions. Grand entry time, here we go.
Ironwood, whenever you're ready to make me like it on a Friday night, let's do it to it. Welcome, loud and proud, bringing in your nations, bringing in your tribes, your ancestors, representing here in the footsteps. Get low, boys, get low.
Hundreds fill the arena in a colourful swirl of elaborate regalia. Drum groups sing and play thunderous rhythms that dancers instinctively anticipate, while the ringing of countless bells and rattles affixed to dancers accentuate every step. It's a sea of bobbing heads, getting lost in the music, getting lost in the dance.
So I dance women's fancy shawl. I've been dancing since I was 3 years old.
This is Santana, but I'll let her explain her full name.
My name is Santana Young Man Afraid of His Horses. I originate from the Tashunge Kuki Papi Teoshpai. My ancestor is a man afraid of his horses. He was so fierce in battle, they would know who he is just by his horses.
Santana danced a lot in her junior years, but she stopped when she went through some tough times.
My senior year of high school, my grandmother passed away, and I took that year off, and I went down the bad road, we would say, and kind of lost myself in that sense. And I remember looking in the mirror and I don't even know who I am anymore. And I knew I was breaking my mother's heart and my father, and I didn't want to be a statistic. So I did my best to put my foot forward, went to college, and that helped me out a lot. And then getting back into my dancing, I started taking it serious at that time. Got back into my culture, which pushed me. And then I met my partner, and he's been sober his whole life. We started going to powwows together and having that motivation and meeting my friends that I met in the powwow world. That support meant so much to me. And then I decided to run for Miss Black Hills, which helped even push me further. And it was actually my last year to run, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try it out. And I was very nervous because it's a big competition. And in the interview, when they were talking to me, I also was very transparent about where I came from and that I'm trying my best to motivate girls who think they can't turn their life around because they went down the wrong road. That if I can do it, they can do it. I won one of our biggest titles. It was very nerve-wracking, but I got it.
Competition is.
So it's kind of like a pageant. So you'll have your interviews that you have to do, public speaking, and then in front of the whole powwow. So you have to go up there and really give your best speech, tell who you are and why you're running for the crown. And then you have dancing. So you have to go out there and dance.
And her style is known as fancy shawl.
And it kind of resembles the butterfly, or some say the deer. And if you look the way they jump and they dance and they spin, for me, my grandma always told me, when you dance, your shawl is going to tell a story.
Fancy shawl is just one of many styles performed at powwows.
And then there's men's fancy. Theirs is the most physical dance. You have to be really in shape for that one because the beat's fast. They do splits, some do backflips. And they have to do this all staying on time and stopping on time. So, yeah. And then we have women's jingle, which is our healing dance. And that came from the Ojibwe tribe. Tribes kind of adapted it into their circle. And that one's our healing dress. And when they wear that, they're offering prayers for people. If someone needs extra prayers, they'll dance for them. And there's also men's grass. Yeah. That one's kind of more like a tradition. The men back then would dance the grass down so that we would set up camp and kind of lay it down. And then men's traditional is our oldest dance, and it's called the warrior dance. If you ever watch the dances, we have like the sneak up. You'll watch that, or the duck and dive. And then women's traditional, the attire is how we used to dress. The buckskin, the breastplate, you have the knife case and the medicine pouch. Everything like that is what we kind of wore.
And am I right in saying that it's not choreographed, that it's just what you feel when you come out and dance?
Yeah. So that's one thing that I love about powwows. Like every category out there, you're making up moves in your head as you're going. You do practice at home, but when you're out there, you're just dancing. You're just feeling the moves, you're feeling the steps. And that's why they always say, if you ever hear the Eyapahe, it'll be like, dance your style. So you're out there giving it your best. Everybody has their own style. They have their own moves. Everything is just beautiful.
And a big part of what makes it so beautiful are the outfits, or regalia.
So fancy shawl, our whole cape's beaded, the front and the back. Our leggings, our moccasins, our hair ties, our headband, our barrette, our earrings, like everything is beaded. And then you have your shawls that are also made by hand. And I make all my own stuff. I also like to purchase from indigenous artists, local people from where I'm from.
An important part of Native American culture and tradition, and what are highly esteemed features of any regalia, are eagle feathers. They symbolise strength, courage and nobility. But they're not just for decoration. They must be earned through significant accomplishments.
The eagles are very sacred to us because they're closer to the Creator. And so we hold them at high regards, and we don't kill them. The feather is just like a piece of them that we keep with us and offer prayers. And again, it just helps us, be a little bit closer to the Creator. So if there's a dancer out there and he has a feather and it drops, they'll stop the song right there. So you'll see it. If someone drops a feather, they don't keep the song going. Everybody will stop. And then they'll have a veteran come out and he'll pick up the feather and they'll do prayers. And they do ask everybody to turn off your cameras. So if you're at a powwow and you see that happen, don't record it. It's kind of a sacred time for us right now, and we don't want no one to record that moment. They'll say a prayer, and if the veteran chooses to give the feather back, he can, and he'll kind of give whoever dropped the feather words of advice and kind of the steps to take for next year.
Another sacred feature at a powwow is the drum, but it's not just an instrument. It holds profound significance and serves as a connection to the spiritual world.
When we make those drums, we're trying to mock the sound of the thunder, especially for Cheyennes. So we refer to the sound of the drum like the same sound as the thunder makes.
This is Hunter Blassingame, the lead singer of Showtime, one of 28 groups competing at the powwow.
We ask that thunder spirit to help and kind of be alive, because we believe that there is a spirit that lives in there. And my teachings, I think, taught us that respecting that spirit pays off, because it helps us, and not necessarily financially either, but we're taught that you can make that spirit be infectious. And when you see all those spectators standing around, sometimes when you go watch a drum, it's like listening to your favorite vinyl record or something. It gives you goosebumps or something. That's the energy or the spirit that comes from that, right? So when your brotherhood around the drum coexists with that spirit that's living with that drum, everything flows into place.
Hunter's been in Showtime for 10 years, and another member is Xavier Little Head, son of MC Ruben.
Showtime is a drum group that's a coalition of two nations, Northern Cheyenne and Oglala Lakota, but it's much deeper than that. It's rooted in our alliance with the two tribes through history, trying to live on our victories of the two tribes, bring it together through song and sharing, like, both sides of our Cheyenne side and our Oglala side, our traditional music in that sense. When we go places, even sometimes within our own communities, a lot of people don't understand the breakdown of singing. And a lot of non-native people always ask you, like, what are you chanting? What are you saying when you sing? So there's a difference between singing a song that has words and then a song that is just vocables. So a vocable is sounds that sound like words like hey, or sounds that sound like way or ya or stuff like that. So there's real no language meaning to that other than a sense of the directly to the maker. It's all in the melody.
I asked if they could give us a small sample of their singing. Joining Hunter and Xavier is fellow Showtime singer BJ Braveheart. These songs are deeply tied to the daily life, rituals and history of Native Americans, and they've taken Showtime around the world.
Last year, we went to Venice, Italy, Australia for a month. I sang in the White House for a tribal youth conference. I feel like with our teachings and the amount of respect that we've had, like that spirit has paid it forward or paid it back to us in a sense to take care of us like that. Because growing up, when you're a young man learning to sing, you're doing it to get the girls. You want the attention, because if you're a good singer, the chicks are like, who is that, And when I was younger, there wasn't very many people my age group that were trying to learn, especially like the older style of singing and the ceremonial songs. So like I got kind of thrown into it fast, and it paid off, I think, because I never would have thought in a million years I'd be singing some of the places that I've got to sing.
Did it pay off? Did you get a chick then?
I mean, I'm not going to incriminate myself on a podcast. There's probably someone going to be listening in like, I don't know.
Considering the history, there is something poetically powerful about their performing in a place like the White House.
I feel like every place we've been called upon to sing at is super humbling, and that's our duty. Sometimes there are tribes that are very financially well off, and there are tribes that are like very, 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 very poor. And I think we represent two of the most poorest tribes in the whole United States. So our teachings growing up is to accept what you can. Don't be greedy. Sometimes people can give you a stack of money and a stack of blankets. Sometimes people give you a horse. Sometimes people can just give you a meal. Sometimes more than none, I guess most times more than none, I've told families that have approached us, will you sing for our whatever special, for our honoring? Yeah, sure. What can we give you guys? It's like, just feed us. Give us what you can, but a meal for sure. Because all of us have families, all of us have lives and stuff like that, so it's expensive to eat. Sometimes you go to the powwow and you pay for your way in and you fast most times for the whole weekend. And then hopefully it pays off in the end. I've gone home hungry a lot of times.
It means a lot for these groups to perform, but the Black Hills Powwow has an even deeper meaning to locals. Here's BJ Braveheart.
For me, it's kind of like a coming home, because originally they say this is ours. Like, I lived here since I graduated high school. There was a point in time where I didn't really care for this powwow, but then as time went on and my kids started to grow, it was like I got to keep coming back here to promote the teachings that I was taught, you know what I mean? So like teaching my kids, keeping the kind of like a tradition alive, because my dad taught me how to sing, so I want to teach my kids how to sing, but I also want to teach them the part of the culture.
To me, feels super empowering. Walk 50 feet out into this next room and look around at all the, smiling, happy Native people right now. It seems like what we're seeing and what we're doing and participating in halts all the outside things. So to me, that's empowerment. And I think it shows the non-Native community that, we're not stereotypes, we're not extinct, we're very living and thriving.
We follow the boys out onto the floor as they get ready to perform and compete.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been informed. Last night we broke the record of 1,600 dancers at Black Hills Powwow. Today we broke another record. There's now 1,833 dancers in attendance. All right, we're going to come down the line here to Showtime. Showtime, it's time. Here we go. Showtime.
I looked around the circle. Xavier, BJ, and the rest of Showtime all follow Hunter's lead. They pound in unison, eyes closed, lost in soaring voices and raised spirits. They've played the White House and the Sydney Opera House, but I can tell it's here, surrounded by their community, that the powwow spirit rings strongest. I finished my night in the centre of the floor, dancing with tribes from all over North America. This is intertribal dance where anyone can join in, from kids who have only just learned to walk to elder statesmen bedecked in countless eagle feathers, and one Australian with 2 left feet. They weave and twirl around me, a colourful chaos of movement and energy. But this is so much more than just dancing and singing. It's a shared sense of identity and a celebration that bridges generations and cultures. The Black Hills Powwow lives and breathes and thrives on the power of the drumbeat that comes alive through handcrafted regalia and the spirited dancers who embody history. And to feel that spirit, you need to come to Rapid City and experience it for yourself. Thanks for joining me. And if you'd like to create your own South Dakota stories, you can find out how to do so by going to travelsouthdakota.com. You'll find lots of inspiration and ideas and everything else you need to know to plan your great South Dakota adventure. Thank you to our guests who featured in this episode, Ruben Little Head, Santana Young Man Afraid of His Horses, and the Showtime singers, Hunter Blessingame, Xavier Little Head, and BJ Braveheart. If you enjoyed this episode, there are plenty more Travel South Dakota stories to listen to. So hit that subscribe button and follow us wherever you get your shows. This series was produced by Armchair Productions, the audio experts for the travel industry. Find out more at armchair-productions.com. I'm Brian Thacker. I wrote and presented the show. Jason Patton recorded in the field, mixed and did the sound design, and Aaron Miller is the executive producer.
Thank you. Good night.
Quick question. Do you want travel tips from people who have actually been there?
Our show is co-hosted by Tim Johnson, an award-winning travel journalist who's been to more than 145 countries around the world. And I'm David Brody, the other co-host who's been travel podcasting for 20 years while traveling to 50-plus countries around the world.
In about 10 or 20 minutes per show, we break down a destination with the kind of insight you usually only get from long guidebooks or hours of research.
So if you want expert advice, zero fluff, and travel inspiration that you can actually use, search for Travel in 10 wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also find us at boyescape.com.
Hi, I'm Pauline Fromer, host of the Fromer's Travel Podcast. We post new episodes weekly, detailing the kinds of money-saving tips and cultural insights that will make your trips richer without making you significantly poorer. We do so by interviewing real travel experts like TV host Samantha Brown, Frommer's authors from around the globe, and such public figures as Free Solo's Alex Honnold. It's a fun travel party. I hope you can join us.